So we already had a wonderful session. We was talking about holographic energy and healing, and we went to Starship Athena and did some work there. And so welcome to our third meeting with focus on the higher evolutionary human being. So where we are working with thoughts and thought fields. So we are creating a thought field. We sit in a circle, and in the middle of our circle, we are creating this image out of light. This image is the final destination. It is the, Juliano likes to call it a homo, omega, man, woman, or a homo
omega.
Yeah, me and Diana, we are the boho omega.
Yeah, we're Bohemian.
We are boho omega.
Because we got Bohemian blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I must be the Latin omega, right? I have a little Latino blood in me.
Latino omega.
Latino omega. Sounds good.
So I asked Juliano in Q&A about the difference between Adam Kadmon and Homo omega. And the Homo omega is the final destination for humanity on Earth. It is within the Adam Kadmon. The Adam Kadmon was created at the top and includes all expression of how humanity could express itself, whether it's dark or light or with different dimensions. And we have the Homo sapien, and now we are evolving into the higher evolutionary human being, which is the destination. It is the image we build and bring it into the now. And because we are advanced energy workers, we are holding the image in the now. This image will heal and evolve the planet. At the same time, the humanity and planet has to travel there, evolve into it. So we are bringing it into the now. And in the past two meetings, we was talking about this higher evolutionary being, how he thinks, acts, feels, how she look like. And in the beginning, we had a little hard time. We couldn't really go there, right? We knew it will have these psychic abilities, but they are only like byproduct of that expansion in consciousness and stepping into your mastery and your true self. So in the second meeting, we already had an idea where we are heading, and we was already building a beautiful image. And so today we're gonna look at the aspect which is the androgyny. So we are sitting in a circle, and we're gonna take turns talking. And once you are done talking, you can say aho. That way we know that you are done talking, because sometimes we are not quite done. There may be a pause where we are still trying to translate it into this English language, which is so insufficient for these topics we are talking about. So say aho once you are done. And so let's take turns. And as we talk about it, keep in mind that in the middle of our circle is this thought field we are building, this image, which we will then project into the noosphere and into the planetary conscious, unconscious, and subconscious, so that it's accessible for everybody in the now and whenever they get to it on their evolutionary journey. Okay, who wants to start?
Well, I'm new here, not me.
So I go. So we was talking about that Juliano and Helio, that they are twin flames. They are androgynous. They are the one self expressed as female and male. They look alike. There's no need for bigger or muscular body because this future self is in the fifth dimension and above and creates with thoughts. So it doesn't need muscles. It doesn't need strength. Tim?
The senses that I get through all of my being and all of my meditations is that there is no longer a separation between the lower self and higher self. That is the male and female separation in the coming being. And that coming being has a tremendous balance between the two. So the thoughts that that being has is a thought of input from both, which supports all around it, supports itself as well as others throughout the unity consciousness. And the love and the acceptance that is given, which is sent from the inside of this individual, this inside from this evolutionary, evolved individual, brings a light, a spiritual and a light to all things that is that will be on the earth, that the earth will be healed, and the humanity will be healed. The polarization will be gone because all will be in this multidimensional, this homo existence, and that's what I see. I see this light as I see an individual. Okay, multiple individuals, but the same light.
Yeah.
Which comes from all of us, from inside. And there are some of us here already. You can see them. So we are moving, we are evolving, we are opening. And with us, we are helping others open. And we are healing those and bringing those forward. So the future will be the oneness, okay? The balance, not this, this, okay? And the light will be so great and so strong that all things will flourish. Things will support, right? There'll be no trauma. There'll be no pain, okay? And as individuals, we can eliminate the possibility of boredom, okay? Because we're still an individual. We still have to interact with the different things that come our way to the individual, but also interact to the unity, okay? We bring the individual into the unity, and we bring in the different multi-dimensions as a new humanity, okay? So that's what I see, that's what I feel when I think of these and bring this person in with the balance, with the harmony, with the justice, with the love, okay? That's the person, that's what we build. That's what we build in our sandbox to give out, okay?
Yeah.
A whole.
Oh, thank you, Tim. That was beautiful. I bet we will start crying today. This is getting very beautiful. Okay, next.
We lost Bob.
Yeah, we lost Bob. I guess his twin flame called him away. Francine?
But I see, if I use my young grandson as an example, is that this image that I see is a total comfort within the body makeup. It's comfortable in itself, and it's comfortable within its surroundings. And that when it's out in nature, it flows with nature and becomes one with nature and feels very comfortable, just physically enjoying the moment of what nature has to offer, the love, the beauty, seeing it through beautiful eyes that nature is shining and bright. And when it's inside or not in nature, it's also comfortable with any kind of technology, any kind of new ideas that are flowing through it, is engaged in the beingness of whatever it's doing at the moment. And so I see it as a wholeness. Wherever it is, it's home with itself. Uh-huh.
Nice. That's really vivid imagery. So when you were talking, Vera, it came to me. I've got to get used to calling you Ariana. I'm just anyway. But so I was thinking about the automatically the yin and yang symbol, but also the like for me when I'm in my state of flow or whatever, I feel like every in breath is a meditation, every out breath is a prayer, every in breath is a meditation. I'm like in a state of flow where there is no difference between meditating, praying, or creating. I mean, I'm in this state where I feel like it's all, but each thing needs its moment. You need your in breath, you need your out breath. So that's why we were thinking about the yin and yang symbol, and and Juliano and Helioa, and just that both sides are necessary, and you need to take the time for each of them, but there can be this point where they're in this continuous state of harmonious flow that as I just keep thinking of the yin yang symbol. But then when you were talking, Tim, about the going not up not down, I was thinking more of like then it also duality, like that when you set yourself against one thing, that you automatically set its opposite into motion, in terms of judgment. And so I think of it more of like on those two seesaws of it finally coming together in this centered place of non-judgment, of all love, one love. And anyway, so those are the images that came to me. But about the body and how that's related to androgyny, I had told Vera something I learned in school. I was taking a class of human sexuality where they did a study of if you take the what a time for you to come back in, Bob. So they take a rabbit fetus, they took the gonads out of a rabbit fetus of a male, of a female, like took the ovaries out, and so it still developed as externally as a female. And they did the same thing with the male rabbit fetus that was and took the gonads out, and without that Y chromosome trigger, the default was to become female. And so that was like, to them, that was the proof that female is the primordial tissue. That, you know, and that's also why men have nipples. Men have to be ready to become women when we're all in the little embryo state before that trigger kicks in of whether we're XX chromosome or XY chromosome or some little tweak in between. That if you take out that Y chromosome, then it's always going to become female. So there's just something about that, like with that, throws the androgyny equation slightly askew. That there's always going to be that you still need female first.
Yes. And the Adam was originally hermaphrodite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are actually, when we talk about androgyny, it's connected to the twin flames. It doesn't have to do much with being hermaphrodite or have both sexual organs, because that's an evolutionary journey which can be very long.
Mm-hmm.
But all that other features we can easily manifest in the now. It would take only a shift in mind, an expansion in consciousness.
Well,
In order to become, well, many of us already are androgynous. Like I've been feeling androgynous for many years because I don't have this sexual drive. I don't look at people as sexual objects. I don't have that. That doesn't mean that I still enjoy to be present in a nice man, a true gentleman, right? But that sexual drive is not there because I don't need any help from anybody out of me. I am self-sufficient within myself.
mm-hmm.
And connection to my twin flame is where it needs to be, here, not looking for it somewhere out there as so many people do. They mix it up with these romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But as a multidimensional being, you understand that you and your twin flame, you are the eternal oneself. And the earthly partnership is just a speck in, you have multitude of lifetimes and partners and relationships. There's no need to put too much energy into it and invest your emotions into it, because as energy workers, relationships, they can take lots of energy because there's lots of emotions invested in it. So an androgynous being will be also a little bit less emotional because it's above it, that third dimensional trauma and drama, and doesn't invest too much emotions in everything that's unfolding.
Yeah. Well, it rings a bell when you talk about androgynous. You talk about the unity of the male and feminine polarities, of the union of the male and feminine energies within oneself. So you have this unity. You're not attached to either one. You're not in a role. You're in your mastery is about bringing both of those together and recognizing that you do have aspects of self or the soul that are essentially androgynous. So and that's what we're here to do, is to master that, that split and bring it together. So, yeah.
So Juliano was talking about the twin flame relationship, like visualize they are on a boat and one of you take on the diving suit and dive deep into the ocean, into the third dimension, where it's cold and dark and uncomfortable and heavy, and you don't really know what you're doing. You are just fumbling around. While the twin flame is up there in the light, in the sun, right? just checking the controls and making sure you have enough oxygen and that you are still connected, so he can pull you out.
Yeah, yeah.
But you are always connected by that string, right?
Well, that's comforting, very comforting, because I've definitely never met this person in real life. So I'm glad to know that's where they are and what they're doing.
Yeah, but at the same time, he or she is always here.
Yeah, yeah.
With you, because it is energy, just like you are energy. So it's always here, always with you. It's probably the number one in your group of guides and teachers, your personal entourage. It's probably the spokesperson.
Yeah. Yeah. So I missed that. I'm sorry, I got disconnected. We have an internet problem out here in this area. We're way out in the middle of nowhere. So and I had to restart my computer. Did I miss anything?
No,
It's Tim.
Tim was talking about how this unification, the merging of those two polarities within, how it bursts out that light, that one light, one soul, because the twin flames, they are two parts to the one soul. So one that is, what's the word? When it's really put together and recognized and lived out, when you live it out, then you emanate this soul light.
Yeah, yeah, when there's unification, right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that our choice that we make when we come into this polarity or in the third dimension is to integrate and unify those aspects of self? For instance, I came in as a male, and one of my soul's lessons is to integrate the feminine, because my energy was very masculine, military service, doing a lot of other things, living overseas in different environments, very harsh, traumatic environments where you needed that male energy for survival. So, and then I had to open my heart and find my feminine side and bring and open and feel comfortable expressing my emotions and being open. And embracing the feminine, which is still a challenge for me, but I'm more comfortable.
It comes down to when you look at what we're evolving into, we can see that we understand and we recognize I am that I am. And I am both sides. I am who I will be as both sides. And that evolved human being, human being that will be on this planet for the future and bring this planet into the fifth dimension, will not, with the polarities now, humanity worries about what other people think of themselves, of them. So with this recognition of I am who I am, there's no defense. There's no necessary to defend.
There's no ego.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. And when I look and when I delve into meditation and I join this individual, I feel that unity. I feel that I know I am that I am. I know that we will evolve into this direction. There are going to be challenges, but it will overcome all those challenges.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We are the doorway for the masters that are coming through us. That's why we're the male female in the third dimension. We have to be the doorway for the new starseeds coming in, right? Once that's done, all right, And like you, my daughter is so sensitive to the point where just hearing some of these things on the news,
Mm.
boom, right? But her sensitivity is highly spiritual, okay? And she knows it, and she's working with it. So as a doorway, her mother and I'll open the door and I'll let that star seed come to the third dimension, because she's got work to do ahead of her, right? She may pick up where I leave, but in the meantime, she's learning.
Yeah.
It's her learning, right?
Right.
So coming back around to I am that I am. I know that I am that I am. I accept I am that I am. And I accept your thought of me.
Yeah. Very
Wow.
well. Yeah.
May we all see each other this way.
Well, I think what Tim is suggesting is that is the ultimate mastery, is when you can recognize and accept the I am that I am within yourself, without worrying about or concerned about what the world thinks. You're living in the world, but not of the world. You're recognizing who you are, what your soul is, and that's profound, and that's the image that we should carry. I am that I am, and I will be that I will be. Is carrying that forward. I love the analogy you made about the starseed. That's a great one. Yeah. And Juliano talks about that. He talks about how sensitive and how with this trauma that exists now in this dimension, in the polarity that we are experiencing, and all the shock, I call it shock therapy that we're going through here in the third dimension, that we really have to embrace the I am that I am. That's how we're going to unify. That's how we're going to bring ourselves together. And that's how we're going to radiate the light body that we are to others, and bring in the rest of the people out there that are lost, are pretty much not able to deal with the trauma and the shock, and not, and that perhaps don't have a purpose or soul mission. They're not spiritually inclined because they're in a survival mode right now. So I don't know. It's very, very.
As we spread the light, so the light will heal.
Yeah. Yes.
Francine?
So, when my little star seed grandson was writing about Grandmother's Day, the first item he put on was that he thanked me for being part of his creation.
Oh, that's sweet.
And
Perfect.
he, I see that. One of the images that someone showed me was that the male female bodies have connections. If you put a male and female body together in close proximity, there are parts of the brain in the female that is connected to the part of the brain in the male. And this man was imaging that for me, and he also said that if you put the male female bodies together, the gonads and the female organs are also in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at merging that male female body within ourselves, the parts of it, we already are set up in our brain and our creative second, our sexual organs to be able to create this part of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And as Vera's saying, in almost a non-sexual way, we just can combine these two into one. And I think that's probably what this omega male female why we're set up this way, but we've been separated, male, female, and that androgynous part of us is going to bring together
Yeah.
what's already in our physicality, the
Mhm.
male female physicality,
Mhm.
and it's going to merge
Mhm.
as we let it merge, you know,
Mhm.
that it's a process of
It's a bridge.
yeah, it's almost like they've always done this exercise where we bridge our left and right brain, right? And I sort of see it as that merging. It's already there. We're just merging that. The same thing with our lower chakras. We're merging those together also. I'm not quite sure how we're doing it. I remember years ago where I was being asked to get married, and I would say, how can I marry if I don't know who I am yet?
Mhm.
And that was my response in my 30s. I don't know who I am yet, so I can't merge with you and your energy. I have to find my path. And I think that's what is part of finding ourselves in this lifetime, is merging ourselves and coming into our wholeness.
Mhm.
And it's a process.
Mhm.
It's a process. You know, it's that being a female, creating with those emotions, and yet my male part has been the healer, the doer.
Mhm.
And I've had to step back this last 8 or 9 months to heal the female part of me that was ultra sensitive and internalized all the pain. And I think COVID, from what my daughter, who's an indigo and a very challenging indigo, and when COVID came, the mantra was that people are too busy with their own stuff now. It doesn't matter what you do, how you look, how you act. They're not going to notice anymore. And it's freed us up to become ourselves.
Right.
And it really has. I mean, I have to remind myself, nobody cares in that sense, that they don't care about what I'm going through because they're going through their own stuff.
Right.
And so it gives you the freedom
Mhm.
to be whoever you want at this
Mhm.
point. And I think that's what COVID has done for humanity in a way.
Mhm.
I can feel for all the people in Portland. I can feel for them with my feminine side, and yet I know that that's their journey.
Mhm.
And I can send them love, and I can send them everything without having to communicate with them in physicality, because they're going through their stuff. And we have to allow everyone to go through what they're going through at this point, and or leaving the planet. You know, what I've been going through, I felt really envious of people leaving the planet. You know, because gosh, you know, they're finished with this pain and this change and this massive assault on us all. And that you know, and yet every morning I wake up and I'm still here. And I'm also, this morning I woke up and I found myself doing healings on all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And it just came one after the other after the other. Even Santa Fe, I was doing this massive healing because I was expanding into my light expansion to include all of Santa Fe and the
Wow.
city of light.
Mhm.
And finally I said, well, it's about 9:30, maybe I should get out of bed, you know.
Mhm.
But it was just there. It wasn't it was just happening, you know, doing the work.
Yeah. Remember Richard Bach's famous quote was, if you wake up in the morning and you're still here, you got work to do. You have more work to do. You, oh, shucks. I thought I would leave. No.
God help us all.
Yeah. Francine, where are you right now?
Santa Fe.
Oh, you're in Santa Fe. Okay. That's what
So I was thinking,
Our city of light.
Yeah, there you go. That's great.
when you start looking at people as they truly are, there are females and there are males. Let's see them just for that. We can still see it's a female or male, but there's no story behind it. Because the Homo sapien, as soon as we see somebody or something, we are projecting, we are creating a story based on an image. And in that, we are already dooming that being for all that happened to humanity, for the females and for the males, all the trauma and drama. We are projecting that, we are creating that. We can't help ourselves because that's all we know. So our task is to look anew in a neutral way without any preconceived ideas about how this human being is. Just neutral.
We're starting, I've noticed in the last 10 years, when I look at people, I see their wholeness, you know, and if I'm projecting something like, oh my gosh, that person is fat, I just go, okay, you know, that's what they are. That's who they are. They're just who they are. It has no relevance to, it's almost like I let that image go because it's an old programming. You know, it's an old programming that we carry with us that has been with us. And yet most of the time I only see that person. I don't recognize them as anything except their wholeness, their person, you know. They're strangers and yet they're just there, you know. They're people say, did you notice this or that? I go, no, I just saw them, you know. They were just in there, you know. I don't know how to describe it any different than they just were there in wholeness. And you,
Well, and you were there in acceptance.
something like that, right? Yeah, not being able to judge them, you know. You know, I think we're getting to the point where we don't have to judge ourselves anymore. You know, that we're releasing all that old programming and judgment that was put into us, and it's part of our old self-love. I think we're all, you know, if we imagine this new person, they're going to have they will reach that total self-love image of themselves, you know, and acceptance of themselves. And I think that's where we're all going right now. We're releasing this is 2020 is releasing all these old judgment patterns. Nobody cares. It's just us caring about ourselves because everyone is involved in their own learning how to care about themselves, taking care of themselves.
There's nobody else here. It's only you. One being, one soul. Expressing
Right.
itself as many.
Can I just also though add some of the things you brought up to me, Francine, about the brain balance, like how important it is to do. I learned about that quite a few years ago about, you know, being able to bridge the two parts of your brain, and you're right, like with the exercises, that is really important as far as finding that kind of wholeness. But I'm also thinking a lot about, I mean, it's really common in Seattle for people to now tell you what their pronouns are. as far as, you know, I'm he, she, they, them, and there's people who are non-binary who want to be called, referred to as they and them instead of him or her. And so, you know, that those people, I mean, I would like to have one of those people in this discussion, because I don't know what that must feel like, but for some reason they have come to the decision that they already are this thing. They already are this merged being that doesn't have to be either or. So I would like there've always been these people. It's just starting to become acceptable to be out about it. I mean, this is beyond being gay or something, you know. This is like, you know, because it's more announcing like a physical thing, you know, like saying I refuse to classify myself as male or female. So there's something in their physicality that is like is either both or different or merged, or but this is also so secret and private. I have no idea what that means, you know, but there's definitely people who are leading the way as far as this goes, as far as androgyny. But it's also a spectrum, obviously. I mean, there's all kinds of gay men that like who are like obvious, like you don't, there's no question when you see them. Then there's plenty who like you would never know. And same with females, you know. I mean, there's some very butch women that it's like, you know, it's no secret. And then there's plenty of like lipstick lesbians you would never know. So I mean, it's like there's some whole spectrum of sexuality that is completely being ignored here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Are
mean,
all being downloaded onto the earth right now, you know. Albuquerque is filled with these people, you know.
okay.
They have a large group of these people, because I keep in touch with them because of my grandchild, and I watch what they're doing and how they're experiencing everything.
So I know quite a few people who identify this way, but none of them close enough to say, hey, would you come to this meeting with my friends to talk about it and explain to me? I mean, I'm still a little unclear about it. So it's still like something that you feel like weird to be ignorant, you know, don't want to be asking the wrong way, like to seem insensitive or rude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a celebration of our diversity. There are multitude ways how you express your multidimensional self that's shining out of you. But there's infinite ways how to go about this. So accept it all, love it all, embrace it all. Don't judge anything.
Well, and it seems like it's so much easier to learn to do that looking at other people than to do it for yourself. But that's obviously part of the lesson.
Well, that's why we do this together, because everybody has a little angle to it.
Well, thank you for so much food for thought, you all.
Well, let's wrap it up. Let's go in a brief meditation. So remember, we are sitting in a circle, and in the middle of our circle, we have this image. And remember that what you send out, you receive. So what we create in the center of our circle, we are creating it within us. Visualize in front of you your twin flame. See the image of yourself. You look alike. Opposite gender. And the energy fields are merging and forming a Vesica Pisces. And so we are at the bridge. We are standing in the middle of the Vesica Pisces and the bridge. We are the bridging consciousness. Behind you is standing the old self. In front of you, your twin flame. And we are now merging into one being, one soul. We are collapsing the polarity, and we are one flame. Bathing in the light of the God's presence, the universal, undifferentiated, pure white light of creation. So your soul's light within this one light in which we are all one. See again this project of this higher evolutionary human being. It's emitting light, you can't even tell if it's masculine and feminine. And project the image into the noosphere, into the planetary conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. This image, this thought field, contains in it all the ideas we have verbalized today. May everybody on the planet be able to expand in consciousness and receive this image into their consciousness and be able to absorb it, take it as their own, comprehend it, and live it out. And come back into your center. Still basking in the light of the one self. In the presence of your twin flame. In truth, we were never separated. Just as you can't be separated from God. And so it is.
Thank you, Ariana.
Thank you all.
Thanks. Thank you all.
I'm gonna have to run, so we'll see you guys. Take care.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
so
for coming.
much. Yeah,
Bye.
we'll be in touch, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, Tim. Bye, Francine. Bye, Diana.
Francine, so good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Be careful and safe.
Yeah, everybody be careful out there.
Yeah, okay.
And keep shining no matter what.
Yeah, we'll keep shining. That's right. All right.
Thanks, Tim.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Mariana.
Bye,
Bye now.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.